Elite Dangerous review by MandaloreGaming. Is that a python? Good landing.
After many years of playing it on and off and not knowing what to make of it, the time has come to finally talk about Elite Dangerous. However, most of what you'll see here will be recent footage. The game has had changes over the years, and some of the old footage is different.
Excuse me, boy, but you violated the NAMP.
So we'll move past all of that and talk about the game as it is now. That will include the Horizons expansion. Usually I try to talk about the base game and the expansion separately, but this time it's so integrated that I don't know how to do it separately.
Hey, Thargoids have returned. Oh man, as somebody who, let's put it this way, Raijin was up this past weekend, and I got some good photo ops. So the first time seeing the Thargoid Maelstrom, seeing seeing a Thargoid Titan, seeing their funny little nuke mechanic as well after you damage the core when it's venting. Honestly, it's been very good. This video is about 4 years ago, so we've had Odyssey since then. We've had a lot of changes. Even recently, we've had engineering changes where nodes will give you. So, for example, right, the brain trees, or some of the nodes that he was looking at when he was doing his flip, right, you get 3 instead of 1 per now. So it's been streamlined a little bit more. The engineering grind, though, I don't have a right to say that I slogged through it like some of the OGs did, or like Mandalore did.
It'll be easier than picking apart what's and what. So let's get started. Elite Dangerous is a space sim set about 1300 years in the future. In this future, killing the innocent is okay as long as you pay a fine, and killing the less innocent or evil fine debtors gets you the money. You don't have to shoot people in the face because there are a lot of other things to do, and there is literally a lot of space to do it.
Yes.
Because the game takes place in a 1-to-1 scale of our galaxy. So if you want, you could go and visit any of the game's 400 billion star systems. According to the developers last April, the player base has mapped out about 0.036% of the galaxy. So if you're worried about not finding new things, there's still about 50,000 years or so to go.
Yeah.
This universe is run by their server, so there's no offline mode. However, playing solo or in the MMO universe with other players will still affect the same galaxy.
If you do play on open, you do have to worry about gankers, much like every other gaming community, right? You do have to worry about gankers. There are definitely the people that will sit outside of the beginner systems and immediately just try to gank new players, to which in any game, I mean, if you're going to argue that that's a low point in the game, I mean, 1, that's a community thing, not a game thing. 2, there are options to not play on open. 3, we need to be judging all games by that same logic, right? So RuneScape PKers, any sort of game with PvP where people try to gank new players coming into the game, it also does, kind of sucks if you're coming out and, somebody just absolutely obliterates you with, say, like a fully engineered FDL, Fear de Lance, or something like that. Definitely one of those points of contention a lot of people do have with the game is that sometimes the PvP community can get a little rough when it comes to new players, and it can absolutely turn people away from the game.
Talk more about that in a bit. For now, I want to focus on the presentation. Because visually, Elite looks great. It's hard to believe it came out back in 2014. The lighting, reflection, and shadows are really impressive. Seeing a star glare off your cockpit and shadows move across your dashboard is one thing. Seeing it happen across an entire planet's ice ring is quite another. Whether it's space phenomena, something man-made, or a little bit of both, the realism approach makes it all interesting to look at. This goes doubly for all the ships in the game. They've added a bunch over the years, so there's a large amount of variety. These ships are also hugely customizable. There are paint schemes, dashboard items, weapon colors, it really just goes on. Same goes.
Was this prior to, because we had Odyssey launch, right? But there's definitely been a dry spell in the community. Like they're releasing the oh god, I can't remember what the new ship is right now. It's the one coming out like in 2 weeks, so like November 2024, Mandalay, right? But we've gotten like the Mandalay, we got the Python Mark II. We've gotten ships that, finally starting to get ships. I've heard that it's because Frontier's other projects aren't panning out, and Elite Dangerous is still the thing that kind of makes them money or still makes bank in certain aspects. So they're kind of going back to Elite. But also, like, the Thargoids are just some of the coolest enemies I've ever seen visually and sound-wise in any video game.
Atmosphere rover or character if you want to make a space darkside fill or something. These are microtransactions, and unfortunately I think they fall on the steeper side. The good news is currently they're the only thing you can buy with money, no gameplay advantages, and you can earn the currency just by playing the game and never have to pay anything. But there is a weak
Technically, this has changed because now we have ship kits. We also do have the Mandalay, which is going to be locked, as far as I'm aware, behind ARCs, behind the premium currency. So we have people, I guess, on the Reddit who are engaging contention right now because I guess Frontier was never going to do something like that. But now that they have, this opens up to, what else are we going to be able to use ARCs for? What else are we going to pay for? There was also a big price hike about sometime earlier in 2024. This is before I started playing. Or maybe it was late 2023. There was a price hike in ARCs, and it was noticeable for some things, but these are cosmetic and not really pay to win. And even then, I'm actually surprised at the sheer lack of aggressive microtransactions in the game, which is a good thing.
Cap on it, so it might still take you a month just to get a paint skin. It is nice to have the option of just playing the game to get them, because most games don't do that now. It's a long lost fight. I guess this is fine. Beyond that, the level of detail these ships have is insane. These are the most detailed and gorgeous ships I've seen in a released game. Released game, don't you start!
Yeah.
I wonder what year that joke will actually age in. Anyway, ships are cool, space is weird, and planets are planets. The visuals set a really high bar, but here's the thing. The game sounds even better.
Yeah.
4, 3, 2, 1.
The game plays very well.
Good shooting, Commander.
Yeah, that's core mining. Yeah, I've heard about this. I haven't done it, but this is deep core mining. Someone's got a D. How much oxygen you got? 5 minutes? That's a D class life support, ain't it? Literally the correct option. So I have a class A, I think, on my Shard Conda, as halfway engineered as it is. That Guardian reinforcement module is going to work wonders, I know, because engineering in this game actually does stuff. Like, it's not like, oh, minimal returns, 0.1%, 1%. No, engineering in this game is actually dumb as fuck. It's great. It's amazing. Like, it's actually good. However, you start off like E class on all of your core internals. You can go up to A. Yes, A is going to be the best, but D is going to be like the lightest option, but like one of the least performing options. So generally, to lighten up on weight, to get that better performance from the rest of your components, generally you go with like a D class. So that's what I'm reading here. That looks like they have a life support, whatever. I don't know if it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. I'm pretty sure it's like probably a 4 or something. They definitely have a D life support though, which most of my ships have. Literally, my Shard Conda is the only exception.
This is one of the best sounding games I've ever played. The quality of the sound, the variety, the mixing of it, it's all just perfect.
Those
like
gimbals?
Italian chef kiss. Mwah! It has to be heard to be believed. Ships can range from sounding like a World War II biplane to just Star Wars. The menus have a shuddering sound that remind me of Alien. I've had friends with VR headsets tell me that this game becomes transcendent with one. And you know what? I can completely believe that. Elite just knocks it out of the park when it comes to presentation. For whatever reason, I always feel like I'm playing a Dead Space game. Probably due to all the barren planets, the orange holographic menus, the computer voice, and the evil companies.
Yeah.
It could also be the terror from beyond the stars, but let's not go there yet.
Yeah! Oh, man, that first interdiction, I was hooked. Went in the Sidewinder to one of the Titans. Oh my god, I was hooked. I didn't even get to see the Interceptor. It just blasted. It swatted me like a fly. Now I'm in a Crate Mark II taking on Cyclopses. Dude, there's a barrier between Cyclopses and, like, Basilisks. I feel like Basilisks have a targeting mechanic. I haven't proven it yet, but it feels like Basilisks will go out of their way to target something specifically, regardless of how far it is, and just say, I'm going after you. And even then, going into Medusas, I don't think I've ever, even in a group of two, I don't think I've ever actually taken out a Medusa. Those things are chonky. I've seen Hydras. I don't think I've seen an Orthus. I don't actually know too much about Orthros. Hydras, though, good god.
When it comes to the gameplay, one of the first things you'll likely do is adjust the controls. It is easier with the flight stick or HOTAS, but I had no problem with the mouse and keyboard too. When you see
I use controller with like the X key on my keyboard to like zero my throttle, or I use certain things on keyboard. But I mean, I played this game entirely using controller.
The controls menu is as long as a CVS receipt. You might get worried, but it's not too bad. They recently added a bunch of new tools and tutorials that you can access at any time. This makes the learning curve not nearly as daunting as a lot of other space sims. Trust me, it can get really dull out there. The game is easy and smooth to control. It mainly plays more like a space plane, so you'll be at home if you're used to traditional flight games. You can also flip off controls and move it exactly like a spaceship. Maintain fast momentum in one direction, but turn around to face another, like if you're being chased by somebody. Or you just want to gently float by an asteroid field scanning for goodies, but don't want to keep flying through all of it. Flying is fun, and it's cool to see how different ships or even different parts can change the handling. Docking can be tricky if you're new to the game.
Why 3B? What? Why? What's the math at play here? I'm having to go back a little bit. What's the math at play? Why would you ever go 3B? That might be a cash thing. Okay, I could see that. Well, not that I'm rich by any means. Like, I have some rebuys. I mean, I have like what, 200 million in my fleet carrier, I think. Yeah, I got a fleet carrier after, God, 100 or so hours. I can't remember what the exact hour was. I blitzed trading, and I went and did some exo as well. That I got a fleet carrier off of that. That was nutty. Now I have it parked next to the Titan right now. Yeah, cash is an issue in this game until it's not. So, like, your first million, once you make your first billion, it will go faster after that.
Docking can be tricky if you're new to the game or just haven't played in a long time. Then again, maybe you bought a ship that's much bigger and slower than you're used to.
Too fast, too fast. Full reverse.
Yep, that's the Anaconda. That is the Anaconda experience.
The same goes for Super Cruise traveling throughout a star system. I don't have footage of it, but when I first started the game years ago, I'd keep boomeranging around the system because I couldn't time it just right. I mean, yeah, you could keep it in the blue, but that takes forever. If you
I don't. We do have auto docks, like enhanced manual auto dock or enhanced auto docks, and we do have Super Cruise Assist. Everything but my AX crate, I have Super Cruise Assist on. I think that at this point they should just give them their own slots. Like, Frontier should just be like, cool, we do have your free give me slot. You can and will have a Super Cruise Assist and a auto dock, but you can't say remove it and put like a one limpet collector or something on there, or like a one hull reinforcement, right? They're specifically those two things. I think that honestly that could work. I think that enough time has passed that, I mean, I get that it's a preference thing, but I mean, I think you could just probably just like make them as built-in features at this point.
were tormented by this, they added an item earlier this year to help you with that. Just let the ship do it and look around at all the pretty sights. But you might have to wait in a queue if you do that.
Oh, I hate that queue.
You have to remember, this is a British game developer.
See, it's funny when you're in the queue and the timer has gone down to like 30 seconds and you're in a Type 9 heavy, and then you try to go out the mail slot, and then there's just like, what's the big one, beluga? Then the beluga's in the mail slot, and then you're trapped, but you can't back up because now you're caught on the beluga trying to go in the mail slot, and there's another Type 9 behind you that is still pushing you out, and you trying to reverse doesn't do anything. You're just taking hull damage. Dude, the auto launch as well also has issues if you engineer. So there apparently, my buddy's got an Eagle Courier, right? Like fastest ship in the game, like consistently goes over 500 on boost. The auto dock will just slam him into walls. It's really funny.
Yeah, don't use it if you know what you're doing. The ships have solid controls, and if they don't feel fast enough, just put more power in your engines.
Yeah.
That's just on the move, because of course you go into still. Christ, what a dick.
Hey, let me drive. You almost hit that guy. We're fine. Don't worry about it. We just gotta find Mandalore, force him to let us be in his video, and then our careers will be smooth sailing. I'm telling you. He doesn't want us in the video, dude. Yes, he does. He just didn't tell me where he parked his spaceship. Oh, I'm sure. Shut up, Kid Creel.
There's an extensive amount of ship customizing when it comes to parts. Your ship can be set up as a warfighter, a miner, an explorer, or a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Anyone can lob a missile at you in space. It goes even deeper than that because each part might have different sizes and classes.
Yeah.
You could put the best stuff on, but they might be heavier and need more power. One part might be cheaper and less efficient, but it's a lot lighter, so your ship is more maneuverable and can jump farther. What about weapons? Fixed ones are more reliable, but you have to maneuver carefully to line them up.
Yeah.
So there's a consideration of putting on nothing but gimbaled weapons, which will automatically track your target. No more having to line them up all the time, right? Well, they might not hit as well, especially when the other ship starts electronically jamming them.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to consider, and you can spend a long time planning out your ship build. Some ships can fit a fighter hangar, and you can have an NPC fly it, or fly it yourself. If you want to explore, do you want to bring rovers along to land on planets? How many should you have? It'll be a long trip, might want a repair module for our ship, and maybe a fuel scoop for going by stars, and it just spirals from there. You can fit a ship out for anything you want. Elite hopes you like this part. A lot. After all, this is a game I've played on and off, not something I've sunk thousands of hours into, even though it looks like the kind of thing that I would. As open and do whatever you want the game claims to be, it still has too much of a stranglehold. Let me explain it with a few stories. On my most recent return to the game, I decided to start out by hauling cargo. It's a good moneymaker, and it's not that risky unless you take a dangerous mission or go into a bad part of town. So
Oh my god, or you take up as a Type 9 Heavy a mission where you have a full engineered anaconda completely interdict you again and again and again, and you lose like 20 mil, and you're just like, bro, please, anaconda, I'm begging you, stop.
I did some cargo missions, which did not pay a lot, but was making way more than combat in the area did.
Yeah.
Eventually I decided I would just sell whatever I wanted, but the market info was pathetic, only showing places I had docked at before and not all of them. In fact, there were barely any market search tools at all. EVE Online has had a tool like this forever, so it was odd to me that Elite didn't have anything like this, but as it
We do have Inara.
turns out it does. There are multiple third-party tools on the internet for it, even for something as simple as buying a ship. I could search here, or dock in stations in-game with an economy that I think might have the ship I'm looking for. So I see some promising stuff, buy low, sell high, sell higher, and the trip is right next door. But I noticed in the market some materials that sell really high in the same station, and apparently you need to mine them. Not good old laser mining either. It would be more complex to really move up. So I got a long-range exploration and mining ship. After exploring and nearly getting a pulsar fire, I found a nice system. I looked at the planets, probed some rings, and aha! The money spot. So I set course. When I got there, a local checked me out, and then he left as quickly as he came. So I was free to do whatever. Then
I'm sorry, is he playing on open? No, okay, no, it's an AI. I was like, is this man actually unironically playing on open? I still haven't played on open. I'm worried about the random FDL. Dude, the FDL pisses me off because it's off-center. Like, the actual, like... Oh, dude, it bugs me every time because the FDL is slightly off-center enough that I'm noticing it. No, I'm just worried about the ganker in open that just comes along with an FDL and I have to eat the rebuy. Oh, dude, can't do it.
I had to scan the asteroids. They don't always change into an obvious color to tell you that they have what you're looking for, so it was something I had to learn. Then I found one with a fissure on it, which means there's something good inside, and I launched a special drone to see what else was in the rock. More fissures, so I had to launch seismic probes into them and also keep them balanced to make sure that the rock didn't blow up too much because I don't want to blow up everything inside of it.
Right.
They're also on a timer, so I barely got out of range before it exploded. Now the rocks are free to be collected by the drones and mined by me. Near 200k a pop. 2 or 3 of those are an easy cargo run. I got more. They're worth more than 200k. Much more. So I went back, and while the drones are collecting up the money, I went back to that website. The station...
I hear platinum mining is still actually incredibly lucrative. I know it's a rep grind to get it, but what, the Imperial Cutter? Isn't that like the end game cargo ship for people that are doing the end game plat grind? I hear it's very lucrative.
I went to was lowballing me. I had a better idea of what I was doing now. For reference, the missions in the area had been paying me a few $100,000, maybe a few million, per run, which, that was after expenses. Endgame ships are well worth over 100 million, so that all made sense. In my second ever mining run, I went to the station that paid high, and made 170 million credits.
Yeah.
What? I remembered playing for weeks and weeks back in the day and coming nowhere close to that. I had to tell Dimitri and bring him along.
This is the USS Thundercock. We are requesting permission to dock.
Yeah, you can multi-crew your spacecraft. That's awesome. 2 sets of eyes means a better chance of getting a promising asteroid. He could also be the gunner to loosen the diamonds while I maneuvered around the rocks. It worked wonderfully.
Pick up heart, gonna blow.
Such a cool animation.
So then we returned back to station ready to get rich again. To test it, I only sold some. The game decided he earned 5% of my income. There's no give money button.
I think they've addressed this since then. I know that. So they've addressed it in this little asterisk. So, and this will actually get into my critique on Titan combat. You can get in a team with somebody. It is possible. I do it a number of times with Bako. You've seen it on stream if you've been out to an Elite Dangerous stream that I do. And like we're in an AX combat zone, he gets the last hits off on the Interceptor. I get the 8 mil because he killed the Cyclops as long as I tag the Cyclops. Like, there are things, right? Like, you can team up and you can help earn with each other, especially in AX. However, The Titan combat is where I do take a little bit of issue, as much as I like the concept of it. I like that you have to go through the Maelstrom, you have to get within range of the Titan, and then you have to hit the vents, and then because heat's building up in the Titan, it ejects the little thing underneath it. Honestly, after this, I actually unironically might do Titan combat while Raijin is still up. So if that dates the video to anyone watching this, that dates the video. Raijin is still up. Those two hearts went down in like nobody's business, and now we're just sitting here like, okay, but like we have like 4 left. What was I saying? Oh yeah, Titan combat. The lucrative way to do Titan combat, in my opinion, is to be kind of around the edge of people and let other people kill the vents and let other people hit the core. Because the core, even if you're in a team, is still pays out dependent on participation. So if somebody goes in with, I don't know, 4 missile racks, right? Like they have their special missile rack. They go in with like just full DPS, right? Or even if they go full like DPS and they like just two shot this thing, they will get all the bounty despite everyone else in the team also participating. I think that the core is a missed opportunity. I think that it's set up almost perfectly, but Titan combat has left me a little wanting in terms of the reward that pays out. If you're wanting to make money while doing Titan combat, from what I can gather, you're going to want to effectively just do AX around the Titan, right? Take out the interceptors that show up, take out the glaives that show up, right? That kind of thing. So I think that the team thing still has a little bit of a miss when it comes to that. And I'm sure there are other things that the community could bring up in regards to how it's a miss in other aspects as well.
Okay, where do I start? Elite has a huge galaxy with all these factions, but how different are they?
It's good to see you, Commander. Please enjoy your stay at this facility.
Access approved. Make your way to landing pad 1-3.
Permission granted to come inside me.
Okay, Commander. Your assigned landing pad is number 35.
When the universe is this big, a lot will have to be procedural. In fact, most is procedural.
Yeah.
All the missions and writing, it's essentially Cleverbot. Names change, locations flip, but it becomes horribly familiar and quick. Sometimes developers can hide this, but this is so blatant that there's no hiding it. In order to complete your mission, you must choose a reward. It'll be money or a material I need because who cares about the station? Go ahead and cross the universe, it'll be the same thing. There's conflict across the universe, systems change hands, you could pledge your loyalty to any of
Is this power? This is power play. I actually just looked at a guide for power play so I can get prismatic shields. Someone with blue-haired waifu because I need it. You can actually trick power play very easily by, 750 units of materials. Just get a Type 9 heavy. As long as you're pledged to them for approximately 4 weeks, you get the tier 3, which you need for stuff like that. I hear that Power Play 2.0, because as of me reacting to this, Power Play 2.0 hasn't come out yet. It's been delayed along with the Mandalay. But I know that a lot of people are excited for it.
them. And it doesn't matter. You can look at the huge map showing the giant 3 powers fighting for control, and I just think of the one from 1984. It doesn't matter who wins, it'll just be the same thing. This is a big hurdle to investment because they rule the galaxy. They create all the ship parts, they create all the spaceships. That's really what it decides, where you can buy things, where you can sell things. Most stuff will be accepted everywhere, but there are some exceptions. I know a lot of missions in an MMO will have like some fluff text that someone skips through, but you can still read that if you want. It might be a little different depending on the faction, might talk about some stuff going on in the world and not just say go collect 5 leaves or whatever it is. This is nothing. The economy is improved for the big ball of nothing. Rank up and you can fly one of our ships and that's it. Now let me be fair. EVE Online is also weaker here, but faction wars unlock all sorts of things beyond just ships. Even missions, which I think are some of the weakest parts in that game, still look like they're written by a human being. Even follow-up missions aren't just random. You have tools to find the missions that they really put effort into the story. But EVE is built around player interaction, so this is all just background stuff really. In Elite Dangerous, you're the background. If everyone stopped playing Elite right now, the wars would continue, systems would still change hands, and everything would be very business as usual. If everyone trickled out of EVE until it was empty, any day now honestly, the markets would just have NPC things and the player structures would be gone and it's just like no one was ever here. That's the world of this game.
Yeah.
You can fly a spaceship with multiple friends, but you can't decide how much money to split. We'll figure that out for you, don't break the simulation. Well, he got his fair split, I just had to go up to him and tediously jettison out my cargo for him to scoop up.
I think that there are also ways to not just be a team. I think there's certain mission types as well now that that you can do with another person. Like you can be a partner with them, and I think they get the same pay. I think they have addressed a lot of these issues.
Alone is really a microcosm of my issues with it. Whenever I hear a story about some player doing something nuts and Elite Dangerous, it's usually in spite of the game's mechanics. For example, let's say 3 powers are fighting in a community event, and each side has to bring a certain amount of materials to a station. The group might organize a blockade and do protection runs, all this neat stuff to fight other players, but then the winner ends up being a completely different faction. The ones who went all solo and didn't have to deal with any of that and just ferried all their stuff over with no problem. Remember, always online, same universe.
Yeah.
You have multiple ways of getting materials and resources and parts. Imagine if you can make your own ships or weapons, or maybe even like a space outpost or a mining colony on a planet. Something to leave a mark and a money sink that's not just your spaceship. What if you put out missions for other players to bring you materials? Build something together instead of for whoever this is. Your imagination can really run wild from here. But this is a game with no give friend money button. That's where we are. The big endgame grind is going to special engineers to upgrade your ship even more. This means collecting tons of different materials just to make your ship that much better at whatever it does. Space sims rarely have just the ship as a money sink. Even if it is, usually gets something like a great story or seeing your impact on the universe.
What is that? What am I looking at?
Ship as a money sink. Even if
What is that in the top right? Is that a retro rabbit with bahonkas? What is happening?
it is, usually gets something like a great story or seeing your impact on the universe. They're also not so weirdly stingy about player tools. I mean, imagine Mountain Blade, but you can only upgrade your character. You can't invest in your own enterprises or overthrow an area for yourself. You can't conspire with NPCs or have your army of underlings. It's not that bad, but it came to mind.
I mean, and I think that that's a fair criticism and analysis. And I honestly think that Elite Dangerous is set up for so much, even all the way here in 2024. It is set up for so much, right? And there's certain things we've talked about on stream. We're like, well, I mean, dude, it's ripe for collabs. Are you kidding me? Are we necessarily getting an X-Wing or an Imperial Star Destroyer as a ship? No. But, I mean, you could have a Halloween event theme tie-in with EA and Dead Space, right? You could have a little tiny Ishimura or USG Kellyan, right? I could see that making sense. Mass Effect ships, someone would argue that the Normandy would kind of look at home. And I have to kind of agree when I look at some of the Imperial ships, right? Looking at the Imperial Cutter, looking at Imperial Scout stuff, or sorry, Clipper. Oh my god, I always forget it. Anyways, but things like that. Halo ship. I don't know if that would necessarily work. I don't know. But like that's the thing. It's ripe, right? Actually, we do kind of a Pelican. It's the Chieftain, right? It's kind of like not Pelican, right? Which is actually the current reward, gold Chieftain skin for the Titan Raijin, which that's interesting. But yeah, like I could totally see this game having more crossovers, collabs, you know, Star Trek even, right? Like it has a basis. And it makes me wonder, like, how far this game could go if the right eyes were on it and it was given the proper attention, which is interesting.
The most interesting missions in Elite were the stuff I just came across, but those also got repetitive. It's a shame because you could have something cool happen out here.
I think that's a Medusa. I can't actually tell without seeing the amount of hearts that it has. But I don't think that's Cyclops. Or is that an
I have another
what
story.
Is that?
After my too close encounter, I wanted to find out more about the strange aliens called the Thargoids. I didn't want to look up a wiki or anything, so a friend just pointed me towards a certain nebula out in space. I hadn't been too far out of the bubble before, but I decided to give it a try.
Your friend... I love that friend already. That friend, I love him. What a cool dude. Just, hey, go to this system. Oh, yeah.
I avoided their ship sites, but I kept scanning planets until eventually I found something. I had zero idea what to expect, but
Oh yeah. This is probably what the Spire sites. Yeah, I haven't even seen these yet.
took the ship down. That was the point I realized that this was feeling more like a horror game. What is this Giger anthill out in the middle of nowhere? I could get closer.
Low gravity warning.
And off I went. A lot of Elite is mind-numbing traveling, but I was entranced at this point.
Yeah.
What was this for? Was there anything I could do here or was supposed to? When I moved down the ridge and saw something moving, It was genuinely scary, but also like an actual discovery. The map showed another player had scanned this place out, but did he actually land down here? I don't know. What are these things? Wait.
Bug.
That one's coming towards me.
Bug. Bug. Just a cool little dude.
It's not hostile, but I'm still not comfortable. I thought they might be tending to the strange organic structures outside the big anthill, but I don't know. I ended up breaking one and collecting materials that I hadn't seen before. These things are like farmers, I guess. I had no clue. I scanned what I could and got ready to get out. But what were behind the doors? Would they like open up somehow if I made them mad? Well, they had free stuff lying around, so I grabbed that up to bring it on the ship. Oh, it's horrifically corrosive. Of course it is.
Yeah.
So much for that. I still felt weird even when I left. While looking for mining sites later, I ended up finding another one. It looked similar, but this planet was near pitch black. I found new information, but the mystery was deepening. What is it all for? Why is it here? Once again, the planet was marked, but was I the first one to land here? Could I be the only person to have ever come? But then I realized that someone left all their garbage from a Melty Blood tournament here, so I guess not. Anyway, even though the ship was built for exploration, I ended up fighting a few of their scouts at one point. It was then I learned that their special breed of acid was also on their weapons, and I nearly died from the fight until I flew by a sun to burn it off.
Yeah.
So that was a rough fight. When I reached one of the few stations out here fully aware of the alien threat, it had all the same missions as the other stations. But I was back in the trail of something. I decided to brave one of the more dangerous signals I saw. I figured out that if I jettisoned some of the material I found in their worlds, that they would usually be okay with me.
Oh my god, what is it? Someone was saying that there is, I don't know if it's still in the game, there used to be a hidden reputation with Thargoids. So you could, like, jettison, like, prisoners or slaves or something, and then, and then the Thargoids would take it. Oh, I'd love to know if that's still in the game.
I just hadn't gone to their territory to try this.
It's kind of odd because I've never actually seen one of these things very passive, but I'm usually in an AX zone, and they're usually like EMPing me and trying to actually take me out. So it's actually really interesting to see these things being so passive.
I snatched up a probe I hadn't seen before and decided to leave the system entirely. You can be caught inside a system, but never moving between them. I thought that for a long time. I was wrong.
Yes, yes. Oh, it's so good. Oh, he's got 2 interceptors on him. Oh, he won the lottery. There. Yep. Yep. Oh, they're so cool. I love them. That's a big boy. That's probably a Cyclops. That sounds like a Cyclops.
I later learned that I had fulfilled basically every criteria for them to murder me, but they didn't. Did I get points with them for sharing resources? Was I just lucky? I have no idea.
I feel like it might be, I mean, I'm assuming you didn't have any sort of Guardian technology. Like, that's the subtext on them that I understand is that the Thargoids and the Guardians, effectively Elite Dangerous' forerunners, quote unquote, didn't exactly have the best of relationships. So, I guess in the lore aspect of it, if you have any sort of Guardian tech, they get really hostile. I'm pretty sure that extends to gameplay as well, because I have quite literally never seen these things this passive, okay? I'll see a Hydra warp in, and I kind of have a clench moment, and just I need to leave, okay? That nothing's happening there. There is going to be no ground that will be gained that day, especially because I'm running this weird BS AX multi-cannons on a crate, 5X multi-cannons. It works for smaller interceptors. I start to hurt when we start going up to, like, Medusas.
After ripping me out and checking me out, they just let me go.
Cool.
Maybe the probe was like an IFF thing? Maybe it would open the door. And it did. And I was glad because I was constantly repairing the ship trying to keep the thing in the cargo hold since it was also acidic.
Yeah.
One of the missions I did pick up was to find 4 rare pieces of their technology, which were inside the base. I didn't know if I could even bring it back that far with the acid and all of that, but I picked it up anyway. The aliens feel genuinely alien, and for my issues with it, I don't know if they would be as effective if it wasn't for the scale the game has.
Yeah.
I still think players desperately need more tools and some additional money sink areas. You can do interesting things with the scale of this game as a backdrop to it. This ended up being anticlimactic, and I eventually found out that I didn't have everything I needed to make something happen. Still, the game became captivating from this for a while. I was excited to see just how far I can go in it. As for how lucrative it was, the alien mission only paid $2 million, the price of a single rock I would find out in the field. The alien stuff I found is mainly used for just killing aliens, and apparently whatever's been going on with them has been stagnant for a few years now.
Yeah.
Apparently I was supposed to shoot all the aliens, so I'm a big dummy. Man, Elite Dangerous. Even now, I still get the early access feeling playing this game. I always think, wow, it has so much potential. Don't get me wrong, it's on sale for $7 right now, and that's well worth it. If you like relaxed trucking games, then it's also a perfect game for that. All the combat and exploration mechanics are fun, but it's just everything else around it. There are so many moments of greatness in it, but there's so much nothing. I guess it's hard because I want to like this game a lot more than I do. I still like to play it in bursts every so often. I'll keep an eye on it, I'll keep seeing what the Yamik says about it, because I know I'll be playing it again, and I know that they're adding carriers in the near future, and that could be a start of something really great. If you like the genre, you might love this game. I just can't get that into it for now. This game could have a great future. As for Eve, it's not looking so good, but that's another story. There'll be some alien shooting games to make up for the lack of it here. I'll see you then.
They're so cool, dude. I love the Thargoids.
It was never going to be a 3-hour breakdown. It was just a few years of me going, eh. Anyway, on to questions. How do you feel about being one of the main factors in the rise of pathologic content? I don't think I'm a main factor, but it's nice to see it talked about more. You can always vote for it in the story award for the Steam competition thing going on now. Chance of a Battle Realms video after it comes out on Steam. Depends on what they do. I don't know, maybe. Any plans to review Half-Life Alyx? I don't have any VR thing, and the Valve Index looks pricey. I could try Elite in VR if I did though, but I don't know, I'm not jumping at it. Do you ever revisit a game you reviewed with a changed opinion? Mostly only if the game changed. EVE Online is very different than the video I did a few years ago, and it's not for the better. I don't even know what to do about it. Now that Elite is over, what's the next white whale? Total War Warhammer. Long story short, I installed Witch Hunt a few weeks ago, and my PC really hasn't been the same since, so I want to make sure everything's all looked at, because there could be something wrong with it, and I don't want to go too ham on a big video yet. Alrighty, I'll see you next time.
What a cool video. Man, I wish they just effed off like that. They kind of hurt when they're back-to-back just caustic missiling you, and then they EMP you, and then the Medusa just hard focuses you, and you're like, where did 50% of my hull go? Fully engineered, heavy-duty deep plating, by the way. God damn, dude. Oh, gotta get into that cold orbiting tech. Honestly, though, this game has a bunch of photo op moments. I mean, like, I have a bunch of photos from just, like, Diamondback exploring, some of the gas giants, some of the cool things you can see. Very great for photo ops. We found like space plants, weird little space fan thing that sells for a decent amount of money when you scan it. We have mollusks, little just aliens out in the middle of nowhere that you just hit with your windshield and go, I'm sorry, little dude, you're just floating around. You have cool little crystalline mineral type things like this. Like there's like space anomalies, like a whole list of those that you can get to. Sagittarius A is pretty cool. British company. Rocks that float. This is definitely not a feature. This is the procedural generation. Stratum just being stratum. Black holes are actually really super cool when you fly into their event horizon. Fleet carrier, obviously, I got to fleet carrier fairly early. Thargoid combat is among some of my favorite things in the game to do. Jameson Memorial got attacked. That is the problem. That is a big boy. That is a Hydra. He hurts. But it's honestly really cool. Like the player base is honestly just super cool. A lot of cool photo op moments. Very, very cool. Very classy. A lot of really cool things you can do. I ram into them more often than not. They started pancaking me a lot more a few updates ago. Like they'll just turn like broadside and just let you ram into them. It's kind of been funny to watch. You even get dynamic feedback because, you know, you start killing some like Cyclops hearts, right? This is a Cyclops. You can actually see some of his arms get a little get torn off and stuff. Honestly, very, very cool. I stream it on a fairly regular basis, and I love it. There's just so many cool things about the game that I love. So, yeah, if you didn't know, I do actually stream it. I've made a regular habit of streaming it for a while now. It's one of those things that I can just sit down. When it comes down to like actually doing like the engineering grind and stuff, it definitely gets a little sloggy, so I'll hop on streams and do some stuff. But honestly, it's such a cool game. It's such a cool experience, and I've loved going through just the motions. I haven't done some of the stuff that Mandalore has. I haven't done mining. I haven't done anything like core mining. He's done way more than I have. I kind of blitzed my way to AX combat, to which I have tried a Shard Conda. I do not have it fully engineered. It will benefit greatly from tier 5 thrusters. I only have tier 3 because of my progress in the engineering grind. So that is something that I want to stress, that engineering definitely is an absolute game changer. The shopping cart at the bounce house definitely flips sometimes and causes very sad moments where you're upside down. But I mean, this game has a sense of scale. It has a sense of grandeur. Just even being able to see your Thargoid Titan for the first time has been wild. Now we have, you know, allegedly they're thinking about doing something near Sagittarius A with Thargoids. At least that's the rumor going around. Because we only have 2 Titans left as of this video. We have Raijin, which is currently ongoing, and then we have one more after this. So this is, you know, the next big story beat for AX is going to be picking up after this, and it's honestly been very interesting to see as a game. So I know a lot of people have been asking for more Mandalore gaming reactions. I absolutely love his content. I'm trying my best to try and comply in game with the YouTube algorithm, what you as the audience wants to see. So I'm trying to grow to a point where I can just react to effectively whatever. And then, you know, it just, video's a video, right? But I do like reacting to people like Mandalore Gaming, because I like reacting to people who I believe in. And I believe in, you know, Mandalore Gaming as a channel, as someone who does content, because they bring really awesome points to the table. They're very educated as they come across, and they put out some awesome work. And now I do have to also specify once more that there is a 4-year gap between that and this reaction, so definitely things have changed. I want that to be just abundantly clear, because nobody should be going, well, Kip, you're harassing him, or you're having this standpoint, but that wasn't the case during the video. I am cognizant that there was time before the video, and even since I started a few months ago, like, the game is vastly different. So I'm probably going to go take a break from reactions right now, because I've done several today already. Done like 30 in the past 2 days. 2-3 days. And I'm going to go play Elite Dangerous on stream. Twitch.tv/KizunAKip. I think that's how you get there. Anyways, we play it fairly often. I'm going to go do some AX, and see y'all in the next one.